and welcome to another episode of Young and Confused. Today, we're going to be talking about the 5 different stereotypes that you find within the IT industry. Now, just like last time, upon popular request, we have another acrostic poem. We couldn't find something that was PG, but basically the acrostic poem is called Penis, and it stands for posers, elitists, nurturers, instruction takers, and the savants.
Yep.
Vishnu, do you mind? Let's start talking about the posers first, because I know that you've met quite a few in your time.
Oh yeah, definitely. So posers are anyone who pretend to know what they're talking about when they really don't. And the IT industry, especially security, is rife with people like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Know all the buzzwords coming and talking about machine learning,
Yeah,
advanced SIEM, behavioral analytics, all the big buzzwords in the industry at the moment. And but when you dig into it, they don't actually understand that machine learning is a lot of maths, or behavioral analytics is actually just probability and statistics.
exactly. Yeah, I find that a lot of people, they just want to jump on the digital transformation hype.
Mm.
The newest, coolest toy, newest, coolest trend in the industry, and everyone just wants to be a part of it.
Yep.
So you have a lot of people with basically no experience, no training whatsoever, all wanting to jump into the industry and pretend that they know things and pretend that they have transferable skills. When in reality, what they really need to do is take themselves back to the learning phases of their life and actually learn the concepts for real. And I've met quite a lot of these people ever since I started in the IT industry. You ask them the question, they don't know. You ask them the question, they say something, but then you ask them a few more questions, and they know, and you realize they understand nothing about the topic that you about. Yeah,
It's pretty crazy. I mean, we both met a lot of people in our time, and we've made it sound really negative, but we have to remember that we're techie people now. We're like in deep with the tech, but if you think about it, we need those people as well in the industry, not in the sense that they should be masquerading as tech people, but for example, in sales, you need the people who are energetic, who can go out there and talk to people.
yeah, that is absolutely correct. Yeah, but we're talking about more about the people um, who have been there for a few years, right? But they're lazy. They don't want to learn. But the thing is, they still want to be involved in conversations, right? They still want to be part of the hype.
Mm.
But the thing is, like, they don't take the time to go and upskill and learn, a new language, or a new piece of technology in order to really add value to the organization that they work at. And those are the people that we call the posers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But we should make sure that because what I think is going to happen is a lot of people are going to listen to this podcast and go, oh shit, am I a poser? I know someone who would think that, but they're not.
Yeah, but the
So,
thing is, right, if they're thinking about that in the first place, that's already good. It means
yeah,
that they're aware of themselves and they want to do everything that they can in their power to not be a poser. That's what the whole struggle is about. Like, what can you do to not be a poser?
I think
Because
number, I
every
think
day I do
number,
this as well, right? But I try not to be a poser by upskilling.
yeah, no, exactly. And I think that's one of the big things about posers. If you recognize, if you think that you're one, you're probably not. 99% of the time, you're not. But if you don't even consider the fact that you might be, I think that's like the biggest giveaway.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, there's a difference between being a poser and having imposter syndrome,
Yeah,
where you
exactly.
feel like you're not supposed to be where you are. But the thing is, you do everything in your power to make sure that you deserve to be where you are.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's talk about the next one, which is the elitists. So
Elitists.
keep that one off.
Yeah, elitists are anyone who has been in the industry for a long time and feel that their level of knowledge is something that no one else can attain.
Exactly. Yep. And they always feel a need to give unsolicited education. So,
Mm.
say you're working on something, these are the people that come up behind you and just try to give you advice about things that you didn't even ask for. They can
Yep.
be quite annoying, but at the same time, you can't dispute what they do know. And you also respect what they know as well. And I've come across quite a few of these guys during my time in
Yep,
IT. Yeah.
same. I think because I've been in the industry a little bit longer than you, and I've been around the tech space, I
Mm.
don't have that experience of people coming up to me and giving me advice as much as
Mm.
you do. Because I think I'm able to keep up a little bit better, I think.
Mm.
And so that makes it harder for them to give me advice on certain things.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know what you mean. And these are the people in the industry who try to gatekeep as well. So they
Yeah.
try to say, oh, you need to know this, this, and this to actually work on this. And that's not true at all. And I think you
Yeah.
would have found that.
Yeah. And the technology space is fast evolving as well, right?
Mm.
Like, to be honest, no one can be an elitist without basically burying themselves in technology day in, day out, learning about all the new things that come out, and basically having no life. So what I do is that a lot of these elitists, they tend not to be married, and they're just nerds. To be honest,
Mm.
they have no other interest aside from work, and the new pieces of tech that come out. And I respect them for it as well because sometimes you need their expertise in order to do something,
Yeah,
and their expertise. So it's very useful to have them around.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think this kind of ties into S as well. It's there's a lack of social graces and social skills a little bit, but
Yeah,
it's unlike with the S group that we'll talk about later on. It's
yeah,
more so they've decided that they've had the experience to ignore those social skills. They know how to use them, but they've gone, I don't have to use this now because I'm so skilled now.
yeah. Basically, they have a tendency to look down on people as well because they don't want to listen to other people's opinions because they're so convinced that their opinions are correct.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, so they become a little bit cocky in that respect.
yep, no, exactly. I think, but let's talk about the positives of the elitists in the
Yeah,
industry. I think one of the things that they do really well is they make sure there's a high standard. In
yeah, yeah. They won't accept anything other than the best, and
mm,
that's really important as well, right? Like
yeah,
a lot of the sloppy work that goes into IT and the cybersecurity industry are because people don't have high standards.
oh
Whereas
yeah,
if you have someone that drives that standard through the organization, then they're the ones who are responsible ultimately for the success of that organization as
yeah,
well. So yeah, they're definitely critical to the success of an organization, but they might hurt a few feelings. But I think in general, in the grand scheme of things, they're probably more needed than not needed.
exactly. And I think what I found with a lot of people who I would categorize as elitists is that they didn't really care about their feelings getting hurt either. So if you
Yep.
prove them wrong in something, they actually take that on board, and they're more likely to regard you as part of their group once that happens.
Yeah. Well, you've had more experience with that because you've been here.
No, I think that's something I found quite a bit. Like they'll be like rough and tough and all that kind of stuff, but when the work gets done and they're happy with it and they see that you're willing to stand up to them, they normally bring you into that in group.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think while they're a bit cocky, they're also socially aware, and they evolve and it's not an exclusive group. It just takes time to become part of it, I think.
Yeah. That's a good point. All right, let's move on. So the next part of our acrostic poem is the N word, nurturing, not the other one.
Yeah, wrong word like in these times. Nurturing. Nurturing people are anyone who cares about your career, who it's not about tech for them, it's about the people who do the work and making sure they're happy.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the rarer groups in this industry because there's this idea that we're all emotionless robots that and we work on computers, so we have to be cold and logical. And so it's a lot rarer to find these people. And when you do, they're always the best people to talk to work with, and so on.
Especially if you're starting out your career in IT, it's really important to meet these people, right? Because they're the ones that will take time out of their day to teach you things.
Yep.
Uh, and usually, people that I meet who are nurturers, they are also very technically competent. So you
Mm.
can be sure that the things that they're teaching you are also correct. And they also try to boost your morale, because
Yeah.
in tech, a lot of the times what would happen is that, you'll bump into an issue and it will take you ages to solve it, but they're the ones who are behind you, encouraging you, telling you that you can get it done. So
Mm.
those are the people who are really, really important in the early stages of a career, because you do need that morale boost in order to think that you deserve to be in the industry.
Yep. No, I completely agree. And I think there's nothing too negative about this group at all. Like, actually, there's nothing negative about this group in my mind.
Yeah, there is nothing.
Yeah, because they've had to, they've gone through the same process that everyone goes through. They've gone through like gatekeeping from the elitists, and they've had to deal with the pretenders. And
Yep,
so they can hold their own against all these groups, and
yep,
they still
exactly.
care about you, which is, I think, the ultimate goal.
Yep. And they're unicorns, really.
Yeah,
But you and I were both lucky to meet a few of these guys, in our career in tech.
yep,
Um,
definitely.
but yeah, for any advice for any new starters, always find the nurturers. They're really important to you.
Yeah, but I think tricky is avoid the pretenders, which is really hard. The
Yeah,
hierarchy.
yeah, definitely. Because sometimes people, it's the natural inclination of people to want to be liked. So a
Mm.
lot of times people talk to you, they seem nice, but then you realize they're only trying to bolster their own egos and their
Yep.
own perceived personalities of being a techie. But in reality, they're not the ones that will help you whenever
Mm.
you're in it. You need the
Yep.
nurture. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's absolutely right. Yeah.
Where would you
So
classify the people who play politics? Under pretenders or
uh,
another
under
group?
the under the poses as well, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have to play politics, a lot of times it's because you don't have the right capabilities to be
Mm.
valued.
Yep.
You're not seen as someone in the organization that can get things done. And so therefore you play politics, you play people against each other
Yep.
just so that you can survive in an organization. And those people are the worst.
Yeah. And I think that again ties into this. If when you're looking for that nurturing person, if you ever get caught by a pretender or a poser, it's it's going to be tough
Yeah,
getting out of their claws.
yeah, that's right. They'll leak into you and then, it'll be very difficult to escape that. All
Yep.
right, let's move on to the next one, mate. Next one we have the instruction takers.
Yep. Instruction takers. So this is being made politically correct, and we'll leave it up to you to guess what it is. But for us, an instruction taker is someone who follows the script exactly and cannot think creatively at all. So they must have instructions, often fed like word for word to them for them to be able to do anything.
Yep. And to exemplify that even more, they're sort of the people that you might find in call centers.
Yep.
Um, they need a script in front of them. Otherwise, they would not know, they would not understand what to say to the person on the other side.
Yep.
Um, and the biggest problem with instruction takers is that there is an unwillingness for them to go and really understand the things that they're saying in the first place, right? They don't want to go and use the brain power to understand the concepts. And that's
Yep.
the big issue, right? They're in a way sort of similar to the posers, but the thing is, they're different in the sense that they won't try to pretend to know things. If they don't know something, these are the type of people that will just say, I don't know, I'm going to have to escalate. They're the most
Yeah.
frustrating because they don't take accountability and responsibility for the things that they're supposed to do. And I find these guys quite frustrating, but I don't hate them like the posers. I just think that they need to take more initiative.
Yep. No, I completely agree. Like I'm the same as you, Jeff. I get frustrated like trying to deal with someone like that all the time. Like I don't think I can go 5 minutes without losing my shit when I come into contact with someone like that.
Yep.
And yeah, it's incredibly frustrating, as you said. Like someone who won't even bother to Google something.
Yep.
Like I shouldn't give examples here actually, because I'll reveal details. Yeah. So again, like you'll know when you meet them. They're the ones that say, "Oh, I don't know. Let me escalate that," or "Oh, I can't help you." Or "How do I do this?" To something that you have no control over, and they should know how to do because it's in their job description, or you've asked them to do something. And And depending on the role you're working in, right? Sometimes you just have to Google that thing and just tell them how to do it by reading it off Google instructions because you've spent like the 30 seconds to Google it.
Yeah,
And
I think this, man.
hmm? Sorry.
It's
Ah, yeah,
lazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's laziness. It's really strange because a lot of questions that might be coming in at the moment is if it took you 30 seconds to Google, why can't you do it? And the reason is at a lot of enterprise organizations and general organizations, good security practice involves segregation of concerns, which means you can only do one thing and someone else must do the other thing.
Hmm.
And that's just good security practice. And that's the reason why I can't do it myself.
Yeah. But yeah, I think with these people, at the end of the day, they just have to give a shit.
Mm.
Because if you can Google something and find the answer within 30 seconds, then why not just do it, right? I feel
Yep.
like these people who are not passionate, they're not passionate about the industry that they're working in. The things that they do not interest them. And I find that, if you're in that sort of situation, you just need
Yep.
to change careers. There's no point for you to stay on indefinitely.
That's very true. I
Yeah.
think the other thing is sometimes some people are really comfortable in that role. They know
Yeah.
where their borders are, and some people can do it for a long time.
Yeah, that's right. Some people don't care about getting promoted. They just want to do what they're told, which
Yep.
makes sense. I mean, it's a lot of effort to learn things, so I can understand why people tend to fall into that pattern of behavior. But for those who want to succeed and for those who want to do great things in their life, they cannot be the instruction takers. They need to
Yep.
be the instruction makers.
Exactly. And I think that's a good lead into our last category, savants.
The savants, mate. These guys, they never cease to amaze me. Every time I meet a savant, I know almost instantaneously because they don't
Mm.
make eye contact. They just start talking, and then automatically that these guys know everything, and they don't even know it.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I know if you're like that. They just know everything there is to know about a product or a technology or an idea. And the only time they come out of their shell is when you're talking about that idea.
Exactly. And they don't respond to social cues. They don't do any small talk. They just get straight into it.
Mm.
And it's really, like as you said before, right? It's really, really, really good to have a savant on your team when you're faced with a massive problem.
Yep.
You need them to help you solve them. Because these guys, they don't get, panicked. They're like ice. They've got ice in their veins. Sit down and they just go through all the troubleshooting steps in their head and they get the issue resolved. These
Yep.
are the guys you want on your team.
Definitely. Like if the world had more of these, we'd be making billions.
Yeah, exactly. But also, you don't want them in customer facing jobs because, yeah, the lack of emotional intelligence can rub certain people in the wrong way.
There are times when I've met people who have way too much emotional intelligence. I've just gone, I just want someone who like this, just talking to them. And I just want to record it
Yeah, it's
because
like you want to talk to a robot, right? Like just give me a straight answer for every question that I ask. I
yeah.
don't want to I don't care how you are. You don't care how I am. Just tell me how to fix this and give me the steps. You just want one of those people.
Yeah.
Savant are probably the closest thing to AI that I know.
Yeah. I think that pretty much sums it up there. Like I think negatives on savants is that they don't make a lot of eye contact. They don't have those social cues. Or yeah, they don't have those social cues, I think is the best way to put it. Well, elitists ignore social cues because they can. They feel they can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Then,
that's the big difference between elitists and savants
yeah,
are that they're both really smart. They both know a lot of stuff. The savants, they don't, respond to social cues because they don't know them.
yeah,
Elite, they don't respond to them because they feel like you're not worthy.
yeah, exactly. And when you get to know someone like that, a savant, they're actually really nice people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Mm.
They're nice people. They're willing to help you. People might say, "Oh, don't talk to that guy. He's weird." But the thing is, like, if you do go and talk to them, they're perfectly okay people to talk to.
Yep.
And if you want to have a discussion about, some sort of technology that they're passionate about, they can spend hours talking about it. You wouldn't even be able to leave. Even if you wanted to just continue the conversation. They're one of those people, and they're good people.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And oftentimes, like for me, I find when I'm talking to one of these people, like I'll have no clue what's happening in the conversation at all. And it makes me
Um,
want to go and actually look up everything they've said.
yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
So sometimes I start writing down notes as they talk, just because I can go look it up later.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same. I feel bad as well. Like they don't even know that I'm stealing all their knowledge. To be honest, they don't care. It's the elitists who care about the knowledge that you take from them.
Mm.
So I never want to acknowledge the fact that I'm learning from an elitist. But I'm more than happy to tell them, man, you told me everything I need to know. I'm so
Yeah,
happy to you. Yeah, they're the people that I want to be around in the tech industry.
definitely.
Yeah. All right,
Cool.
man. I think that sums it up, man. Just so that everyone's aware, the acrostic poem is penis. It starts with posers, elitists, nurturers, instruction takers, and the savants.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Until next time.
Yep. See you guys later.